Have you ever wondered if intimacy has an expiration date? People whisper about it, some laugh it off, and others just assume it's over once you reach your 50s or 60s. But here's the truth. Science and experience say otherwise. According to the New England Journal of Medicine, 54% of men and 31% of women over 70 are still sexually active. Let that sink in. We're not talking about a rare exception. We're talking about millions of older adults proving that passion doesn't just belong to the young. And in this video, we're uncovering secrets. Most people never talk about techniques, truths, and surprising habits that can completely reshape intimacy after 50. If you've ever wondered whether love, passion, and desire really fade with age, stay with me, because what you'll hear today might just change the way you see yourself, your partner, and your future. The biggest myth out there? That aging means the end of intimacy. It's simply not true. Yes, the body changes, but that doesn't mean the end. It means transformation. For men, testosterone slowly slips away, leaving behind questions like, am I still capable? For women, vaginal dryness can sneak in, making moments feel less natural than they once were, and yet these very changes can be turned into opportunities. Think of it this way. In your younger years, intimacy might have been about speed, urgency, or proving something. But beyond 50, it becomes about presence, tenderness, and discovery. It's not the end of the fire, it's learning how to tend the flame differently. I've heard countless stories from couples in their 60s and 70s saying the same thing. Once they stopped seeing these changes as obstacles and instead embraced them, everything became more exciting. What they once feared as the end became the very reason they explored deeper, more creative forms of connection. So no, aging doesn't erase desire. It reshapes. And that reshaping often leads to more fulfilling, more intimate, and even more adventurous experiences than before. Let's talk about what really works. If you think intimacy after 50 means less excitement, you couldn't be more wrong. In fact, the body becomes more sensitive in certain ways. As skin thins, nerve endings respond more intensely, making gentle touches far more powerful than before. Here's a secret. It's not always the obvious places that awaken the deepest feelings. A kiss on the belly, a slow caress on the lower back, fingertips brushing along the spine, or a gentle stroke on the inner thigh. These subtle gestures, often overlooked, can unleash waves of passion you never expected. So, I'll never forget one story from a woman in her 70s who said the first time her husband kissed her belly, something he'd never tried before, she felt like she was rediscovering her body all over again. She laughed, she cried, and she admitted it felt like they were falling in love for the first time. And science backs this up. The Kinsey Institute found that nearly 40% of women report that nipple stimulation, for example, is the most powerful way to spark desire. But here's the part they didn't highlight. Many women also discover that the less common spots, like the back or thighs, can feel just as electrifying. So what's the takeaway? Don't rush. Don't fall into the trap of routine. Explore, touch differently, and remember, your partner's body at 50, 60, or 70 isn't the same as it was at 20, and that's the beauty of it. You're discovering new territory together. Now, let's address the challenge that many men silently carry: premature ejaculation. It's whispered about, hidden away, and rarely spoken of openly. But here's the reality. Nearly 1 in 3 men over 50 experiences it. That means if this is something you or your partner struggle with, you are far from alone. The problem isn't just physical, it's the shame, the fear of disappointing a partner, the thought that maybe it's a sign of weakness or aging, but let me tell you, it's none of those things. It's a challenge, yes, but it's one that can be managed, controlled, and even overcome. One of the most effective techniques is the stop and squeeze method. When the moment builds too quickly, pause, gently squeeze the tip of the penis for about 10 seconds, breathe deeply, and then continue. It might feel awkward at first, but with consistency, it builds incredible control. And there's more. Kegel exercises. Yes, the ones most people think are just for women are equally powerful for men. Strengthening pelvic floor muscles through daily squeezes, even while sitting at a desk or driving, can increase control and endurance dramatically. In fact, research from the Journal of Sexual Medicine shows that men who committed to pelvic floor exercises improved their staying power by nearly 30% within just 6 weeks. 3 months in, many reported complete transformation. Think about that, 6 weeks of small daily effort leading to a stronger, more confident, intimate life. Not only does it give control back, but it also gives confidence back. And here's the best part, partners notice. The shift isn't just physical, it's emotional. It's the joy of knowing you can stay present, connected, and unafraid of letting moments slip away too quickly. So, if this is something you've dealt with, know this. You are not broken, and it is not over. With the right techniques, intimacy can be stronger and more satisfying than ever. Now, let's talk about something many couples ignore or even laugh at. Toys. For years, I thought they were a joke, something silly and unnecessary. But when dryness and discomfort began creeping into my life, I realized they weren't a replacement for intimacy, they were an enhancer. In fact, a 2019 survey from Love Honey revealed that over 52% of women use sex toys, and many report greater satisfaction when combining them with partnered intimacy. A small vibrator, for example, can turn what might have been a difficult experience into one filled with laughter, comfort, and joy. But here's the real key. It's not the toy itself, it's the conversation around it. The first time I suggested trying one, I was nervous. Would he be offended? Would he feel replaced? But instead, asking him, "How do you feel about trying this?" opened a door. It wasn't about the toy at all. It was about us. And that's the hidden truth. Intimacy after 50 thrives, not on assumption, but on communication. Asking, "What do you like? How do you want it? What feels good to you?" isn't awkward. It's freedom, it's connection, and couples who do this consistently are happier. 82% of them, according to research from the Journal of Sex Research. Because here's the thing. When the body changes, words become the bridge. Communication creates safety. Safety leads to exploration. And exploration leads to the kind of passion that surprises even those who thought they had seen it all. So yes, toys can help, but it's the courage to talk openly that makes them powerful. Now, this might surprise you. Many people think STDs are only a young person's problem, but according to the CDC, rates of infections like chlamydia and syphilis in people over 50 have doubled in the past decade. Why? Because many older adults stop worrying about protection. They think pregnancy isn't an issue, so condoms aren't necessary. But here's the reality: CTs don't care how old you are. I remember the first time I suggested a condom to my husband later in life. He laughed nervously and said, "Isn't that just for teenagers?" But when I showed him the data, he agreed. It became a simple, non-negotiable habit. Just 5 seconds of prevention that gave us both peace of mind. And protection goes beyond condoms. Hydration, of all things, plays a surprising role. Studies from CNN Health show that 73% of women feel more energetic and responsive when properly hydrated. Blood flow improves, energy levels rise, and the body responds more easily to intimacy. It sounds simple, almost too simple. But I can tell you from personal experience, drinking enough water, staying active, and protecting your body changes everything. Sexual health doesn't decline because of age. It declines because of neglect. So ask yourself, are you protecting yourself? Are you fueling your body? Because intimacy isn't just physical, it's health, energy, and the choices you make every single day. Let steps move into something practical. Positions. One of the biggest challenges couples face after 50 is physical comfort. Joints ache, flexibility decreases, and what once seemed effortless can now feel like a workout. But that doesn't mean passion has to stop. It means we adapt. According to the archives of sexual behavior, 80% of women over 50 prefer missionary. And it makes sense. Missionary offers eye contact, closeness, and comfort. There's less strain on the body, but the emotional intensity is powerful. But missionary isn't the only option. Spooning is another favorite, especially for those with joint pain. It's intimate, supportive, and allows for deep connection without stress. And here's one more surprise: standing positions with support. The first time I tried it, I was unsure. My legs weren't as strong, and I worried I couldn't keep up, but leaning against a wall for support changed everything. It prolonged the moment, created an adventurous spark, and gave us a rush we hadn't felt in years. The key here isn't the specific position. It's the willingness to try something new, to experiment, to laugh if it doesn't work and celebrate if it does, because that's what intimacy after 50 is really about: rediscovering joy, not perfection. So, whether it's cozy missionary, tender spooning, or daring standing, the message is simple: don't stop trying. Don't let routine steal the spark. So, what sets the big lesson here? That intimacy doesn't start with age. It evolves. We covered a lot today. The truth about how aging changes intimacy. Techniques like gentle touch and overlooked erogenous zones. Solutions to common challenges like premature ejaculation with stop and squeeze and Kegel exercises. The role of toys and the power of communication. Protecting your health through condoms, hydration, and awareness. And finally, the best positions that make love possible and enjoyable at any age. Each of these isn't just a tip. It's a reminder that you are not too old for passion. That spark inside you never truly fades. It waits for you to fan the flame. So ask yourself, are you willing to explore, to laugh, to learn, and to keep trying? Because intimacy is not about age. It's about presence, intention, and love. If this video gave you new insights, hit that like button, leave a comment with your own experiences, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. Because no one, absolutely no one, should feel like their best days of love are behind them. Make sure you subscribe, because next week we'll dive into something even more exciting: how to reignite desire after 60 and keep the fire alive for decades to come.